Hello, everybody. Welcome and thank you for tuning into our webinar this afternoon. My name is Ben Rizal and I'm the manager at Proefschriftmaker. Today's webinar is called Crash Course Thesis Production, and that's actually what we will talk about today, of course. By the end of this webinar, we hope that you will have enough information to make the thesis that you always wanted. If you have questions during the webinar, don't worry, you can just use the chat function. Me or one of my colleagues will answer your questions as soon as we can, of course. This webinar is a little bit different than what we have done before. Of course, we are now quite experienced in making webinars. And what we try to do is combine the most interesting topics for you guys in this webinar. Let's get started. Today's topics will be 1. Schedule, 2. The process, 3. Layout and design, 4. Thesis production possibilities, 5. Digital publication. Step 1. The schedule. So when do I start? This is a very important part. That is why we are already communicating this right here. The schedule that we show you here is the schedule that you will have if you choose to go for a complete layout package. So we do both the layout of the inside pages as well as the cover. This schedule has the longest production time. This way you get an insight on how much time the total production of your thesis could take. If you have a different package, naturally the schedule changes. If you have a question about the production time, feel free to ask us in the chat. No specific date is mentioned, so it's easy for you to fill in the schedule for your thesis production. In order to get started, you have to submit your files on Monday, week 1. On that day, we check if your files are complete, as is displayed in pink. I will now explain all the steps in the process. The next day, after receiving the files, we will start working on the layout. This process takes 10 working days. This is displayed in red. So we can start on Tuesday, week 1 and complete the layout on Monday, week 3. Once that is finished, we can go to the next step, which is the start of production of the proof book. We will start the production of the proof book on Tuesday of week 3. And the proof book will be delivered to your home address on Monday, week 4. This part is the yellow part. The proof book is a single book. We will send you this book and give you the opportunity to check it and make revisions. The time for you to check is 4 working days. If you find any mistakes, you can communicate them with notes in the PDF and we will make the corrections. This time frame is displayed in purple. In this schedule, we start the final production on Monday, week 5. It takes 8 working days to produce the books and deliver them to your preferred address. This can be any address in the Netherlands, for example your house address or the office at the university. So in this case, the delivery takes place on Wednesday, week 6. Now pay attention. Depending on your university, you need to deliver an X amount of books to the PhD office. Every university also has different rules about when you need to deliver the books. Wageningen University demands the books to be handed in 2 weeks before the defense date. On the other hand, PhD students from Erasmus University should deliver their books 5 weeks before their defense date. Always check at your PhD office when you need to deliver the books and how many copies they require. Another thing to keep in mind, this schedule is an example and does not include national holidays. You can probably guess that these 3 days will have an impact on the production of your books as well as on the delivery time. So that is the planning. Starting the process. In the email, we communicate a link to the online form. To start the process, please start by filling this form. The details you fill in here will automatically enter our system and will trigger one of our advisors to contact you and discuss the process, planning, and answer your questions. I will show you the steps of the form. It is not required to fill in final details. You can fill in estimated details because in our experience everything changes during the process. First, you need to clarify what kind of thesis you have. Does your thesis contains mostly text, graphs, or table? This is important because a text-based production is different from a production with highly detailed pictures or microscopic images. Detailed pictures need to be printed on a different paper type and have different printing methods as well. This makes all the difference. Next is the service for layout. To make it easy, please select both, inside pages and cover. If you decide to let us help you with the complete layout of your thesis, we can make you a digital version in the form of an EPUB. We call this an e-thesis. This might be interesting because it gives you the opportunity to order a smaller amount of books and use the e-thesis to send to your friends and colleagues. This is not only an interesting option based on price, but it's also the more sustainable option. Instead of a lot of books that need to be printed and transported, you've now got one file and link that you can share with people all around the world. Later in this webinar, we will show you more about the e-thesis. Of course, it's also possible to do the design by yourself. If so, select No Help Needed. That brings us to the next question about publishing. If you want your e-thesis, select digital publication. The other options, printing on demand and worldwide publication, make it possible to place your thesis on an online form such as Amazon or bol.com. If you have any questions about that, please ask in the live chat. Next up is more details about your books. How many copies do you need? The standard amount is 50. If you are sure you will need a different amount, please enter that. How many pages do you have? How many pages in color do you have? Next, you fill in your personal details. And also please fill in your defense date. The link to the digital manual as an ebook will pop up right now. If you want a physical copy, including the different paper types to help you make the right choice, please fill in your home address here. Then click send and we will receive the details so you can expect us to contact you within one working day. So I would like to give you a quick explanation about what the manual is. It's this book, and there are several questions that we often get. Most questions we receive is about the type of paper that we offer or which you can choose from for the production of your books. So what we have done, we have included the paper types in the manual. So when you receive it, you will also have several samples to see what you like and to make a better choice for the papers. Also, the cover has several additional options. They will be explained in step 4 of this webinar also, but to see them in real live, you can order the manual on our website. Most of our customers choose the option complete layout of the inside pages because they like the idea of having a digital version as EPUB. Before we start working on this, we need to have a clear overview of the separate elements of your inside pages. This way we can set everything in the requested style. So to be clear, what we have shown you here is important for PhDs who want to have an e-thesis option and the service of the complete layout of the inside pages. We have developed a system that gives us a clear overview of the separate elements of the layout of your inside pages. This makes it easy for us to set everything in the requested style. So we need you to prepare your files like this. This is an example. The first thing we do is change the chapter pages. On all chapter pages, you select all the text. Once you did that, you have to change the font size to 24. Done. Next up is the abstract. This is a header 1. So select abstract and change it to size 18. Remove the bold. Then select the plain text and change it to size 12. For introduction, it is the same as with abstract because it is a header 1. Select introduction and change it to size 18 and remove bold. Plain text, size 12. For table, select the title, table and legend and change the size of all of them to size 10. Here we have methods, and as you might have guessed by now, it should be set to size 18 because it is a header 1. No bold. Below methods there is a subheader which is header 2. Select this text and change it to size 16. Remove bold again. As you can see in this example, there are some words in italic. This is an exception. When your entire header style is in italic, you should remove it. But in this case, the italic is used to highlight specific words of the subheader. If that's the case in your thesis, leave the italic words in italic, but don't forget to remove the bold. Apply the following rule. Overall layout styles regarding complete paragraphs or headers should be removed. Specific layout styles to highlight certain words inside the paragraphs or headers should stay. So let's finish the rest of this chapter. Again, change the plain text to size 12. Table as well, change it to size 10. Now we are going to speed up this part. Be aware, the example that we show here is only one chapter of a thesis. The complete chapter took us around 15 minutes to edit. If you don't have time to do all this work in your own file, it is possible to outsource this to us. In our experience, it is best to do it yourself because you know your file better than anyone, and because of that, you get the best result. We are now finishing up this chapter with the references. This also has some special settings you have to take into account. References is size 18 and no bold, because this is the header. And in the end we have the references themselves. Set the size to 11, not 12. So that's it. We have prepared the first chapter. I will name the most common mistakes people make in their file. Be aware to avoid these mistakes. Chapter pages should be completely selected when changed to the right size. Many people make the mistake that they only select the header, but this will give a wrong outcome in the end. Also, the header from references should be in size 18, because this is an actual header. Another thing that authors get wrong often is that the general header structure in the document has flaws. In our experience, this structure can only be fixed by the author. He or she knows their documents best, so fixing the document structure is best done by them. Attached to the email you have received, there's also a manual which contains all the information we have mentioned here. This example doesn't contain header 3 and header 4. These two headers, of course, have their own sizes. If you have them, please check the manual and follow up. So that's it. Next up, thesis production possibilities. Right here you can see two standard options for your cover. The first one is a glossy cover. The shiny effect on your cover can help emphasize the design of your cover. A disadvantage of a glossy cover is that you can see your fingerprints if you pick up the book with greasy fingers. The other option is scratch-free matte. This is our most popular type of laminate. The reason for this is that it's the highest possible quality and it's very durable. Alongside these standard options, you can always decide to add extras. For example, this hardcover. Here you can see a hardcover copy that we made together with softcover copies. It shouldn't come as a surprise that hardcovers come with additional costs. What a lot of our customers do is that they order just a few hardcover copies for themselves, family, friends, colleagues, you name it. Just as this PhD student did. Maybe you already saw it on this book. But these books also include 3D raised gold foil. A very luxurious finishing that is really the icing on the cake, or as the Dutch would say, the cherry on the pie. This is Spot UV. When your complete cover has a matte finishing, you can add a glossy part to highlight it. Here you can see the effect. Next up is linen finishing. This is a very nice touch when you have, for example, a painting or a drawing on the background of your cover. We recommend using this option when you want to create a classical look to your thesis. This is embossing. We use a special stamp for creating this effect. The stamp does not go through the paper, but it applies the exact pressure to create a height difference. A nice touch of this option is that when you open the cover, you can also see the embossed shape on the inside. Here you have an example of a cover where a part is cut out by a laser. We call this option die cutting. We can cut out any shape you want, so get creative. You can also choose for what we like to call an exotic paper type. Here you can see some examples. With this option, we always skip the laminate to get the best effect. If you want to see more of our options, check out our YouTube channel. We have a lot of videos for your inspiration. Then the digital part, which is a very important part because we did a lot of effort in creating this for you. Of course, there's a PDF because you need to submit this to the university library, so you will receive a PDF of the final files that meets the standards for that. But there will also be a e-thesis, which is very special. We will communicate a link now where you can see an example, and also what is special here is, for example, you can also read it on an e-reader. We will show you in the screen the same e-thesis that is shown on a phone, on a computer, a tablet, and an e-reader. This is an e-thesis. What is nice about this is that it changes the whole look to the device it's displayed on. It adapts to the dimensions of the screen. Users can also adjust the size of the text, the background color, and change the font to the one they prefer. As you can see right here, we are opening the table of content on a phone. You can choose a chapter by tapping it. But you can also simply swipe through the chapters. You can read the chapters by scrolling down. Here it's opened on a laptop using iBooks, but most people will use their web browser for reading the e-thesis. This is very easy because you can communicate a link instead of a file. When opening the link, it will display on any device connected with the internet. Here you can see all the options within the browser. Again, you can change the settings to your wishes. You have general settings and typeface settings to make reading easier. What makes this e-thesis unique is that it's compatible with e-readers and Kindles, in contrary to flipbooks or ebooks that most companies offer. You can communicate a digital version of your thesis to a lot of people and don't need so many books. Again, I would like to emphasize how sustainable this option really is. There is no limit to the amount of people you can send the e-thesis to. So we are now coming to an end of this webinar. Please use all the details that I communicated, but of course, if you have any questions or if we can help you with anything, you can always call or send an email and we will be ready for you. And of course, the conversation that will take place after you submitted your form online and your details are in the system will clear a lot of things up for you. So if you have any questions, you can also ask it then. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a very nice day. And I expect that we will make a beautiful thesis production together. So yeah, hope to hear from you soon.